If you're looking to buy or sell a property here in Ocean City, New Jersey, you want to stick around for this one. In today's video, I'm going to take you through everything that we saw happen in January, where reality lined up against expectations, and I'm going to forecast what we should expect to see February, March, and beyond based off of trends, what trends are breaking, and so much more. But before we dive in, I do want to lay some groundwork here. So while some of these statistics in these slides that are coming up were pulled just a few days ago, I want to catch you up today here on February 9th for how some of those things have changed. The primary one being inventory. Just over the past few days, 3 or 4 days in February, we've seen a wave of homes going under contract. Some of them are new listings. Some of them didn't hit the market. Some of them have been out there for a long time. So right now, as we sit, we are in the same exact spot with inventory as we were on January 1st. It has, yes, gone up and down, but essentially we're in the same spot. And that is not good news if you're looking to buy. So with that out of the way, let's get to it. Now, if you didn't see the mid-January market update, some of this is going to sound like new information, but I'm going to repeat myself. So if you did see that, this is going to sound repetitious. So mortgage rates are about the same as they have been, so somewhere around 6.5%, depending on the product and the lender. And there is no expectation that that should change. We'll hit more at the end of this on our predictions coming up, but don't make a decision based off an expectation that they're going to change anytime soon. I don't think that's the case. So inventory wise, like I mentioned, we ended at 223, right, on February 1st. Now here we are 10 less at 213, and that is a pretty quick drop. Now, new listings, which we're going to get to in a minute with some of the graphics, that is the key indicator that I'm keeping a very close eye on because January fell way short. February is looking like a slow start as well. So days on market is stable. Prices, we saw a pretty big jump up in condos this month. I think it was a bit of an outlier. I expected we would get down closer to the 11 or 12% year over year, measuring where we were last year, but we had a big month in January for condos. Single families are essentially flat. I know it's showing down 7% based off of where things were a year ago, based off of a few huge months with a lot of big properties. And in January, as we expected, as I said in the last video, we should expect to see it tick down just a hair, and I think we should see it balance out and creep up a hair at a time going forward. Now, new listings, this is what I'm talking about here. So January's, for the last 3 years, going back to 2019, we had 90 to 95, roughly, on average, new listings. This January, we only had 63. We had over 30% fewer listings than I had expected based off of where things have trended the past 3 years. And 3 years running, you never want to say a trend is a trend, and we should expect to see exactly that going forward. But I did feel very confident based off of my prediction that we would see essentially what we saw in 2023 in terms of patterns, seasonality, and volume. We would see it again in 2024. Well, that trend broke immediately. And I do think that bodes poorly if you are a buyer out there waiting to see more inventory because February, same situation, and March, usually between 90 and 110, bigger range, but still a pretty substantial amount of new listings over the past 3 years. We are not off to a good start here in February, and I will follow up halfway through the month, so make sure you check back, and I will give you an update on where that stands. Now, pendings, very strong January, better than last year. So again, all things considered, we're off to a good, strong start, and I think we're in for a pretty tight market, as I've been saying for a while now. Closed sales, again, a very strong month, and January is typically not a very strong month historically in terms of closed and pending, but you're off to the races. So single family homes, months of inventory has been coming down. Inventory as a whole peaked in the 80s. Now we're down in the high 50s. So all things considered, I think we've balanced out. And again, we're pretty level. Yes, it's trickling downwards. It's because we are slowly but surely losing a bunch of big whopper new constructions that took place, 12 months ago, really, I should say sold 12 to 11 months ago and went under contract, a year before that in some cases. So we should expect to see that balance out. We're not going to dip below 1.5 million. If we dip below 1.5 million, you're going to hear about it from me the day that that happens, and I'm going to own that and, ring the alarm bell that something's wrong. So I don't expect that to be the case. We should stay pretty flat there. Single families are still pretty strong. One note, though, that I do want to add in here that I didn't plan to talk about, but I've seen a pretty strong line in the sand being drawn. The demand for higher end single family homes is still very strong. The demand for lower end, I'll say sub a million, maybe sub a million too, has really fallen off unless it's being torn down and developed. There doesn't seem to be a huge appetite out there. We've seen some in Marion Park. One just sold way under asking price. One dropped its price multiple times and has since come off the market entirely. Um, it's been an interesting dynamic to watch. And obviously, the lower priced homes, buyers are typically more rate sensitive. So rates being higher than they used to be kind of makes sense. But I'm still a little bit shocked to see some of those homes sitting out there that are in the more affordable range. But put that out of the way, days on market still about where they've been, and they should stay that way. Now, condos, again, we've been pretty flat for about a year. Again, up and down a bit, but still very much a seller's market between 4 and 5 months of inventory. If that happens and it continues to be the way that it has been, buyers are going to have a tough time. There's going to be some competition. And this is going to harken back, in my opinion, more 2022 than 2021. 2021 was, 5 to 10 offers on everything. 2022 is still pretty crazy, but not as crazy. But if something is priced appropriately in good condition, I do expect there to be some pretty quick activity and quick offers being made over the next 2 to 3 months. That is the peak of our buying season here in the spring. Fall is a second wave, but leave that for a few months from now. So it's going to be continually strong. Now, as you can see again in January, a very, very strong month from a price standpoint. That was a big jump compared to what we should have expected based off of that trend. And sometimes that happens, but I don't expect us to take a step back next month. Going to keep trickling and trending well above 800. End of the year, we may see 900. It's a definite possibility. Nothing more confidence building than a definite possibility, right? Days on market still very low and flattening out. Again, they were rising for a bit, leveled out. Activity has leveled out. Demand is strong. Consumer confidence is up, and inventory is not. So as long as that remains the case, let's tell you what I expect to see coming up and how I recommend you take action or prepare accordingly. So again, no change happened this month. Fed news has given no indication, Federal Reserve has given no indication that they're going to either drop the rate anytime soon, nor have they said anything about possibly raising the rate. There's extreme confidence that there should be no more increases to the rate, but decreases, I think, again, we save for the second half of the year. So push comes to shove, right? If rates do decrease, you better believe if inventory hasn't, it's going to drive more buyers into the market. Prices are going to go up. Pretty basic stuff, easy to forget. Nobody likes it, but that unfortunately is the reality that I expect to play out over 2024. So if you see something that you like, here's activity or action you should take. Number one, you see something you have a question about or have some interest at or around the price that it's listed at, take a shot. I was just informed of a property today that hasn't been marked under contract yet, but will be soon, that went a surprising amount under asking. That seller was highly motivated. That says more entirely about the seller than it does the market. Do not take from this, you should go shooting low balls at anybody. It's not going to work. But a quick phone call to the listing agent to poke and prod and see what the situation was would have potentially given a buyer a situation, an opportunity that this buyer who got it under contract took advantage of. And they're going to get a very good value on a very hard to find property. So the deals can still be found, but you have to try. You have to be active. You have to have an agent like myself who has good relationships with other agents on the island and brokerages to have those conversations sooner than later, because you wouldn't believe how many people have reached out when they see something sold for a price that was at or around something they would have paid, but they didn't want to be the first one to act or take the shot. And then there's regret, right? There's disappointment, there's frustration. I would have paid that. Well, you should have paid that. Everybody has the same opportunity to go after a property, and it's the ones who take action first who typically are the ones who win. So advice number one, take action sooner than later because more people are going to start. Now, inventory, again, very bad trend that I'm seeing here with new listings lagging well behind what we saw the past 3 years. Over the past 3 years, inventory has been historically low. So the fact that we're behind those trends and our pendings are so far 1 month of activity higher than those trends, it's painting a bleak picture. Inventory is not likely to grow. It is more likely to shrink. Could it stay the same? Sure, right? Could balance out. We could have a nice even balanced market, but in an even balanced market with low levels of inventory, prices still go up. So I don't anticipate finding too many clearance rack situations. But like I just said, if you see something you like, it's worth the conversation. So never hesitate to reach out to me. All my contact info is below, but also on the next slide. And price wise, again, I expect to see things bump up in February. That has a lot to do with what is going to fall off the 12-month rolling average, but it has more to do with the strength of a lot of the properties that are going under contract. Some in the higher price points, potentially 8+ million. I don't know if you guys saw that one go under contract. So it's going to be I won't use the word fun, active and busy spring. For those of you who have been looking for a long period of time, the days of waiting for yesteryear to come back around are gone. They're done. And you need to come to terms for you and your family if this is something you're going to do or something you're not going to do. And if you don't, it's okay, right? There's no pressure. There's no rush. Nobody has to own a home in Ocean City. This is a want, not a need. However, if you want to get it done, acting sooner than later is highly, highly recommended. If rates do go down over the coming years, as you sit there and wait for them to fall first or for prices to come down, you are likely to end up even deeper on the sidelines than you might be now. And I've seen that play out with a few people, and it sucks to watch because this is people's dreams and their memories that they want to make. But a lot of hesitation can really get in the way. I'll say distrust can really get in the way. And I get it, trust me, right? We're technically salespeople. I'm a salesperson by name, I suppose. But I hope if we ever get the opportunity to speak or you choose to reach out, please know that there's never going to be any pressure. You're going to get the unbridled truth from me. And I'm conservative by nature. Never going to tell you to come out here and, give away your firstborn child and your kidney just to have a shot at a beach house. So with that said, I do expect the next few months to be very busy. These videos, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe down below so you see them when they come out. I do them twice a month and more videos in between there to keep you updated. Once a month isn't good enough. Things are happening too quickly and you need to stay on top of things. Now, with that said, that's not your full-time job. It is mine. So if you want me to watch out for you, to go digging for properties for you, to make sure that you have the ability to do this, to make your family's dream a reality, the least amount of stress possible, I am happy to help. With a few closings that just happened, I am taking on a few more new clients, but it's very time intensive, let's just say, the way that I do my job. So I can't take on everybody. So I do have a couple spots for new clients. If you were someone is looking for an agent, give me a shout. But with that said, thanks as always for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.